So tell me more about how Frankie's an arsehole.
He's such an arsehole. I swear to God, every time he gets paid, I'm like, alright. Whenever it's like Frankie's payday, I'm like, right, next like 2 weeks is gonna be just like fucking packages galore getting delivered to the house. They're constantly gonna wake me up because I fucking sleep all day.
How much of those packages do you see him use when he gets them?
It's always just the most random shit. I swear to God, I don't know how he buys so much stuff that then I don't ever like recognize being like used all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
Frankie alone put Jeffrey Bezos in space.
There's so much stuff he's bought, and then after like a month it just doesn't get used, or like after a month he just sells it, and I'm just like, alright.
That's such a pointless exercise.
I know. Like the hammock in the back garden, I mind he bought that and then he used it quite often for like a couple of months, and then I honestly don't remember the last time he actually used that thing.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
It's been sat there for like a year without it ever being used, I think.
Well, this is our podcast.
We're just going to talk about random shit, apparently.
Random shit. Podcast called Old Kids on the Block. Now, right, old Kids on the Pod, sorry. Now, we settled on that name, right? Do you know what New Kids on the Block is?
Is it not a rap group for like the 90s?
I thought it was a movie.
Is it a rap group, is it not? Or is it a movie? I don't fucking know.
I have no idea. That was the name we settled on. We have no idea what New Kids on the Block is.
New Kids on the Block is an American that's a boy band.
Alright. Well, that kind of applies. We're two boys, and that could mean a band.
A rock pop boy band in the 90s. I don't know why I thought rap. I've never listened to any of their music before. I just have no idea. I've just heard the name, I think, and I guess that's just what I assumed for some reason.
I've always just heard the names like I don't know. It must have been like just from American TV shows.
Aye, there's so many American things that I've heard the name of, but I'm not exactly sure what it is because it's been referenced so much in like TV shows and movies that I've seen that I'm just
Definitely.
like I know of it, but I don't know what it is exactly.
100%. Convinced that I learned French from Dexter's Laboratory just because.
Only
du
fromage.
The
only French. I took like 4 years of French in high school, and that's the only phrase I think I can actually say is "Ombre du fromage" for fucking Dexter's Lab.
Do you even know what it means?
Cheese omelette, I think, isn't it?
Points all round. Well, it is indeed a cheese omelette.
It is a cheese omelette.
Crazy. Think of the confidence that you would exude ordering a cheese omelette in France. You stand up with pride and scream it, "Omelette de fromage!"
Omelette de fromage. and then they hit me back with a bunch of French, and I'm just like, a soft goat, mate.
Just hit back with omelette du fromage. The Simpsons is like definitely one of those TV shows that because it's hugely successful, there's a lot of Americanisms in it that like we pick up on, like you were talking about earlier on, where you hear it and you never know, what it means or the
context to it exactly.
Exactly. You just kind of laugh and go
Like people talk about like just when they talk about restaurants, like the amount of times I hear people talking about restaurants like Denny's and IHOP and stuff, and I'm just like, I've no reference to like if these places are any good, if they're like trash places that are like fucking looked down upon, like you eat IHOP, like is IHOP a place that you only eat at when you're like wasted, like 2 o'clock in the morning, you go there and you get food, like that kind of place, or is it like just an actual place that people eat at regularly that people like enjoy? I've no fucking idea. I just know it's a place that makes pancakes and that's it.
I mean, sometimes like when people talk about Denny's, especially, I don't know if that's a place, a person. I don't know what that is. People are like, "Oh yeah, Denny's," and you're kind of just left going, "Oh."
I'm just like, oh wait, is it Denny's? No. Oh right, there's a breakfast. There's one of the kind of breakfast restaurants chains in the US, and they have their own music album.
No.
Oh, it's Waffle House, I think, is the place. Waffle House. They have their own studio album that they released, and they play in their restaurants. It's actually insane.
That's insane. Is it like elevator music, or is it, what is it?
Kinda.
Like, you know, like where it's kind of ambient background music that they've just decided to kind of copyright for every one of their.
No, it's like actual like full on like lyrics and everything. Like they're like proper songs. I've heard like a few clips of them because there's a channel I watch on YouTube. This guy called Stephen George, and he makes like video game stuff, and then he does like this like vlogging stuff as well. And it's just something that they've talked about a lot, and they've like shown on these videos, like them at a Waffle House, and then like the music in the background and stuff. And they just think it's, and even them, they are Americans that live in that culture and all that, and even they think it's like the most absurd, like just kind of hilarious thing that it exists. Like it's so strange. Like a restaurant chain having its own album that it plays in its own restaurant is crazy.
I would love to know, like, I need to go, I'll need to look up the lyrics out like the album after this, and like just kind of, I mean, what is it? Is it songs about eating there?
It's like it's songs about Waffle House and like the food and that there. I'm pretty. I think it's so weird. Like, can you imagine if Greg's had an album singing about sausage rolls and steak bakes?
Honestly, that's probably the future for a lot of places. I mean, see if Greg's did have an album, and it was like an album just literally singing about pasties and sausage rolls, I would look more forward about going into Greg. I mean, Greg's as great as it is, like, even with the limited selection, but top that off with an album about somebody talking about eating a sausage roll. It's just delicious. That's just peak experience and entertainment.
As it is. I mean, it's the ultimate jingle, really. We don't have a jingle, we have a fucking album.
Do you know that you're right? It's like the ultimate flex for a company to be like, oh, we don't just do this, we also make number one hits.
Yeah.
Crazy. Only in America.
Only in America.
Don't you know? Crazy. So what else have you been up to this week? Other than just not taking any packages for Frankie whatsoever?
Absolutely zero packages have been taken in. I mean, actually, like, genuinely, he's no ordered in this week. He must be skint.
I heard you laughing when you missed that parcel. I heard you didn't answer the door.
I'm just at the window watching the guy walk away with the package, just laughing with a drink in my hand, just you're not getting this, Frankie.
Swirling wine, like, not today, Frankie.
You'll have to go to the post office to pick that up later.
I would be surprised though if he didn't send you to the post office instead. He is that vengeful.
The thing that annoys me though is some of the delivery drivers, like, he leaves because not only for packages but also because it's so hot now. We just leave the front door just open, like wide open, just to let air in and that because of the heat. And some delivery guys will be like, all right, well, I'll shut the door, but I'll just like put the package in behind the door because it's open, and I'll just leave. That's like an obvious thing to do.
It's quite logical.
But some of them are just like, well, the door's open and nobody's answered in the first 2 seconds that I knocked, so I guess nobody's home, I'm leaving. And I'm taking the package with me. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I
know. The people are in a horrible position though. Like, they make money by how many drop-offs, so, you know, even 2 seconds and say your kind of timeline, for them might feel like 5 minutes, and you know, they just need to get out there and bounce. But let me ask you this. As a red-haired gentleman in this heat, how are you cool?
Not well at all. There was a family barbecue I had to go to the weekend there.
How was it?
It went exactly as I expected. My side of the family basically socialised with each other, and my dad's wife's family kind of stayed and socialised with each other, and that was basically. So it was like that, but it was fun. It was so hot, and my face and neck and arms were red raw by the time I got home.
Did you wear sunscreen?
A bit, but I probably should have put more on, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
That's good.
I hate this heat. The thing that annoys me, right, is I know a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of people across the pond in the US and Canada and places like that, and I'll share like how I hate.
She's travelled.
Like I'll be like, oh, it's so fucking hot today. I'm boiling. I hate this. I'm sweating like crazy just sitting about the house and all this. And they're like, oh, how hot is it? And I'll be like, oh, it's like 24 Celsius. And they're like, hit it with the old, oh, that's fucking nothing. That's no hot. That's no hot at all. It's like, oh, I'm in Florida and it gets up to like 40 Celsius here and all that shit. And I'm like, all right, listen, bucko. You're used to the heat because it's hot there fucking all year round. It's not hot here all year round. Also, our houses are built to keep warm because it's so cold most of the year. So when it's actually hot, we're fucking baking because like our houses aren't designed that way. They're designed to keep heat in. So when it's hot outside, it's usually hotter inside than it is out all the time. And we don't have AC, so it's like
it's
so much worse.
Yeah. I totally agree. Like I've been out maybe 10 minutes out in the sun, and I've immediately like got a full blown tan. Like I've been hitting the sunbeds every week, and I feel that if I go out for a minute longer, I'll actually just turn it into a crisp.
Yeah, I mean, if I can go outside for like 5 minutes and be fucking burnt red, that's hope. I don't give a fuck where you're from. The weather. Or no, the weather, the fucking the temperature. I don't know what the word I'm thinking of here.
The sun, like the sun doesn't really move. Like if you think of the sun and it's like how far away it is in comparison to other parts of the world, it's really not that much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's still going to be hot no matter. Like hot is hot no matter where you are.
People are just I hate when people are like that. Anytime anybody talks about temperature, like, oh, it's really cold here, or oh, it's really warm here, or whatever, there's always somebody that has to come in with, well, actually, I live in this place and it's like minus 100 degrees here all the time, so you can't complain about it being cold. And I was like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Party, who invited the party pooper?
Like, shut
Go
up,
away.
Man. I don't give a fuck how hot or warm it is or what the temperatures where you live. Where I live is a condition that I can't handle because it's not the norm, so I'm going to complain about it. I don't give a fuck what it's like where you live.
Do you know what I look really forward to in this weather, right? You know how well, I think you've got a fan, so you're different. You've got a completely different experience. But for me, without a fan, like with just the windows open, like the first half of the night, scorching.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Scorching. And like you'll fall asleep, or maybe it's just delirium, I don't know. And then it'll just all of a sudden be cool. Like it comes to that point where the sun's been away long enough that the night's just cool. That's the moment I get up out of bed for, and then put the covers back on. Love it, just because that cool, it's like a moment of relief.
Yeah.
Because the entire in the morning it's kind of cool, but throughout the day it just heats up, and it doesn't go anywhere. As you say, if you're working in a house or a studio or wherever you're working, places built here in Scotland usually are designed to keep the heat in.
Yep. And like AC units are just not a thing. Like unless you're going into like a fucking supermarket or something, there's not going to be AC in buildings here. Like it's just not a thing that exists. I'm tempted. Like I'm thinking next summer I'm going to actually just buy one. I'm going to try and get money and buy one, just because I'm sick of this heat. If it's going to be this bad next year as well, it's probably going to be worse, to be honest, because of global warming. So it's like because I've seen like AC units, like cheap ones that you can get. You put ice packs in, and then it just uses the ice to like put cold air in the room that you're in.
Alright, okay.
And they're like not as expensive as like the proper like big ones that you usually put in like windies and stuff. So I don't know. I might look into that next year, just because I'm sick of this heat, man. It's actual murder.
I mean, it would be so much easier, especially for you, like if you could enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? There's no amount of sunscreen on this earth that you can put on where you can be out in the sun for a good amount of time. It's so I don't like it. I like obviously I've got Sasha and Lainey and they're black dogs.
No.
So walking them in this heat, they don't understand that. They don't get that walking in this heat or being out in this heat for a long time will hurt them and cause them damage. And you look like an arsehole trying to drag a dog home.
No.
The dog's like that. No, I want to walk.
That's crazy. It's kind of crazy though, because you think, because even dogs can sometimes have a rough time when it's this hot because the pavements the pavements are so boiling that their paws can like get a wee bit burnt on them.
We definitely should rethink pavements just for that reason alone.
Aye.
All those puppies, all those kittens that have been walking on the tarmac roads, burnt wee paws.
They don't have socks. They don't have socks. They don't have shoes.
They're not going into Clark's and asking for a pair of sand shoes.
Aye, it's like poor wee hinds getting their wee bean toes burnt off, trying to walk on the pavement.
I know. But since this is like a introductory episode to the pod, so why don't you tell our listeners? Well, people will know you, but tell them a little bit about you.
So I guess is that the plan then? Is we're just going to throw it up on my YouTube channel, just since it has a little bit of, I guess, a little bit of reach on it with some of this, since I've got subs in it already. I mean, for anybody new that's came in for whatever reason for somewhere that hasn't seen any of my other stuff that I've done before,
possibly followers of Mar.
Yeah, I'm Red, and I usually all I do is I stream. I stream games on Twitch, and we'll usually put the VODs and stuff up on my YouTube channel, or I'll put some highlights and clips and stuff up on there. But I stream on Twitch, play games, have a chill time. I like that. Variety games. I play a lot of Pokemon and Nintendo stuff. I would say more than anything else, but mostly it is variety. I just kind of play whatever I feel like and whatever games are out that I feel like playing. So if you want to come by and chill out and see how things are at my Twitch channel, feel free. It's just I'll have anybody that's, if you're watching this on YouTube and that, all the links. I'll have all your links for all your stuff in the description, so he's gonna go down there and easily get to our stuff.
Do you like long walks on the beach? Right, do you like someone with a good sense of humour? Well, I'm John. We have been friends for 26 years. Coming up.
About that.
Been friends for a very long time.
Very long time.
I myself probably more of a graphic designer. I do content design freelance and on my own kind of terms. I've been a custody officer, I've been a hydraulic engineer, I've been a wee bit here and there and everywhere. But lately I've just kind of been putting my focus into what I really love, which is designing and art and drawing, and so that's what I do. And you can check me out through various links in the YouTubes. I don't enjoy long walks on the beach. I'm more of a, I don't know. I don't like walking. I like going out. So yeah, and well, we've, as I said, we've been together, or we've been friends for 25 years. We can still remember, the first Sega coming out. We were playing that. N64, when that first came out, we were playing that. The generation that we've been quite lucky with the way that technologies went. Is, well, if you think when we were kids, it was virtually it was nothing. Yeah, it was like paper airplanes and rubber bands. And you look at the way that it is now; it's completely different. The landscape's totally different.
It's crazy to think how much technology has changed. Like we were obviously 90s kids, so we were in that era of technology was kind of good and getting better and better as we were growing up, and it's just like so crazy different now from when we were kids. So it's, Yeah.
I remember in primary school where you know when you're a kid, like you talk shit. You know, you're just like, yeah, I'm getting a Ferrari for Christmas and all that carry on, right? I remember, like, I don't know, I don't even know where I'd heard it as a kid, but like I'd heard something about like what would you call them? Like a hologram kind of projection kind of thing, and like that was the new gaming technology, and I was going to be playing. I was like 7 or 8, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy this new console, and it's got projections and all that.
Mm.
I was not a very well liked child.
It's
Horrible claims like that.
it's fucking it's that thing where you're at school, you'll be like, oh, I got this fucking sick thing for Christmas, and then people will be like, oh, you should, oh, where is it? You should bring it in and all that, and then you're just like, my mum said I can't, so you just have to believe me that I've got it, because I'm not allowed to bring it into school.
Yeah.
Fucking...
I don't know what it's like to be like a kid these days. I imagine it's more about like what phone you have as opposed to what toy you have. You know, some things will never change, like what trainers you go on or what kind of clothes you got on. But like in terms of like what people kind of had or what people sought for when we were younger, it was Pokemon cards.
Yep.
That was the biggest thing, was just Pokemon cards, essentially paper. And you know, like I don't know what it is now. Bakugan, Beyblade, is that coming back? Who knows?
That's the thing. People think Pokemon cards are still. People say like, "Oh, Pokemon cards are still pretty big." They know that, and the past like couple of years, it's gotten big again. But it's no like back then. Like how big Pokemon cards actually were when they were first out in the like late 90s. It was literally you would walk into the playground in your school, and nobody would be doing anything. Every single kid would be in a huddle somewhere in the playground with each other trading Pokemon cards, and that was it. That was all it was. Nobody was doing anything else. It was literally only that. That's all we were doing. It was insane.
And they would never battle. Nobody knew how to battle.
Nobody knew how to play the game. Nobody knew how to play it. Everybody was just like, fucking, I'll give you this for that, I'll trade you this for that. People would be like, oh, I'll play you for keepsies. Yeah. If I beat you, I get to take one of your cards and I get to keep it. But they would just make up their own rules and just like, fucking, this is how you play and all that.
I remember hearing so many different versions and how to play that game. People would be like, oh, well, your attack, that you just minus that from your HP, or if they had higher HP, then you automatically win. But
it was bullshit, man.
Absolute bullshit. I wonder how many very hugely valuable Pokemon trading cards were lost during those tumultuous war times of absolute chaos where people did not know what they were doing or what they had.
It boggles my mind. Like I don't remember there ever being a way to know the rules. Like we would buy packs. Nowadays you can buy tins and like full sets, starter sets that have instructions on how the game works and stuff. But back then there was nothing like that, as far as I was aware. No. Like there was no. I don't know how people figured out how the game worked, because I never seen or found anything that ever explained how the game actually played.
I mean, we obviously like started collecting cards together not too long ago, and so like we all you knew the game because like you're a huge Pokemon fan, so you were playing TGC a long time before me. But like, you know, when you were helping me play the game and teaching me the rules and stuff, I was sitting there going, "What?
No.
You need what?
You need to do
what?" Like it was just, you know, it was just so much for my brain to handle, because, as I say, like before it was just, oh, you've got the highest HP, or you win. You know, it was like top trumps. So much more complicated than that. It's
crazy how like back then the infamous Charizard card was the card that's like everybody thought was the best card in the game. It's like, oh, it's an amazing card, look how much damage it does with the attack that it's got and all that. But when you actually know the rules of the game and you look at that card, it's actually fucking shit. It's like one of the worst cards. Like it does not do well when you're actually like playing the game at all. It's horrendously bad.
Some of those cards are worth 10 grand now.
Aye, it's actually insane how much that shit's worth. It's.
I mean, like, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, just even just like there's so many things from my childhood that in hindsight I'm just like, man, if I could go back,
I was literally just about to say that.
I'd just say to myself, here, buy another one of these and just keep it pristine. And
don't use it.
In 20 years, you can sell it for thousands and thousands of pounds.
100%. I said that to my sisters. Like, see, you know, when my nephews were younger, and like, cause you, like after the fact, you obviously know the value of your toys and how much, you know, there's people out there, collectors, that would pay so much for it. And that's what I was like, see the toys that, you know, they get at Christmas and all that they maybe don't want, just keep them. Don't give them away, just put them in a box, put them somewhere out of mind, out of sight. Wait,
you never know.
Maybe 30 plus years, treasure trove.
Yep. Especially if it's some kind of like collectible type thing.
Definitely,
like fucking Beanie Babies, that was a big thing, I remember. I never really knew anybody that had them, but I remember them like kind of being a big thing, and I don't know if they're worth anything new, but they were at a time. They were like worth a lot because a lot of people were like big collectors of them.
Yeah.
Like things that when they were first out you could buy for super cheap, and then years later are just worth insane amounts of money. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
I think I don't know. It'd be interesting to know. Like, say at the end of your life, you'd be like, how much money has passed my hands, and it included like huge, valuable things that you had at a time. Well, I don't know, because then the value of it is set after. Really, isn't it? But it's really an interesting concept. Like, because I had a shiny Charizard when I was younger. I had one of the packs. You know, traded it away, not knowing what I had.
Yep.
And like, thinking about that now, I would kick me in the face. Me, a 30-year-old man, would go back to my 10-year-old self, kick them in the face and say, you idiot. Hold on to that.
You damn fool. You damn fool.
Absolute fool. But talking about like retro stuff and that as well, I was recently at the Barras Glasgow.
Oh.
It's, you know, it's a charming place. You kind of need to be in the right headset going in, but so walking in and like I didn't really plan to spend any money. I'm like, right, I'll just go in, see what stuff's there. You know, you never know what you find really, because it's like just this huge assortment of, you know, items that have been collected. And basically within the first couple of minutes of me walking in, I found try to remember this, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers White Falcon sword.
Ooh.
Could not believe it. No, it was almost like I was the only person that knew, you know, what I was looking at. Everybody else is kind of like, oh, that's just like some shitty toy or, you know, whatever it was for. I looked it up, I was like, that much? He's like £1. Gave him £1 for it. Went on to eBay. People will buy that for 30.
Yeah. It's insane to me to think about the amount of people that do that go to these like wee like car boot sale type places with all this old shit they've got for like that they bought their kids years ago or whatever, and they've absolutely no idea what it's worth. They're just like, oh, it's just some old toys, I'll just take it down to the Barras, a couple of quid for, you know, these toys and that. And they don't even an incline in their head to be like, maybe I should look up online if this is worth anything at all.
100%.
If this is like some collectible that somebody will pay a lot of money for. It's
that's. You know, I think that's a huge difference between like the generations, which is probably quite interesting. Like me and you, we would, no matter what we would have, we would Google it. If we have a ceramic thing, we see a name, we see it, whatever it is, we would Google it. People at a certain age, they don't do the Google.
Boomers.
They don't do it. They just like, you know, because before, I don't know, they're obviously just in the routine where they've never had access to have the immediate answer to their burning questions.
No, they just,
you know,
if it's something they don't know anything about, they'll just assume it's old shite. There's not worth it. Basically, it's like, well, I don't know what this is really. I'll just, but it's old, so you know it's probably not worth it. And I'll just sell it for a couple of quid. And then fucking all the millennials are like, no, look it up online. Fucking get that, put it on eBay, see if it's worth anything. Like, don't be crazy.
Bank. Yeah, like you can make money for anything nowadays. Like one man's trash is another's treasure. You know, like some people would consider, let's say, a bit of plastic, but it's just a shitey bit of plastic or a shitey bit of paper. But obviously other people see a lot more value in it. So that shitty bit of plastic, that shitty bit of paper, that could be worth some coin. And because of your pre-existing ideas on what things are, you've just lost out in a sale.
I feel like that saying has never been more true than it is in like the past like 10, 15 years. Like
Definitely.
the age of the internet has really made that saying like so much more truer. I just something that you just have absolutely no value of, that you think is just a that you just think it's a shitty piece of plastic or a bit of paper or whatever, a bit of cardboard, is worth so much to somebody else that spent years collecting them, or just has like these like childhood like nostalgic memories of them. And it's crazy.
I'm constantly on that eBay. You know, I'm looking at like toy lots, or you know, book lots. You know, like if you're searching for the exact thing you're looking for, you'll find it, but you'll find somebody that knows exactly what they've got. Like if you're looking for things that are included in other things, you might get someone who just, you know, has, through no fault of their own, come across a collection that they need to get rid of, and they don't have time to catalogue everything or see what's there, so they just put a picture of it all up.
Yep.
You know, you can buy it. You just scan, just have a wee look, just to see if there's anything of interest.
There's like something as simple as a meme can make something worth more money than it's been worth for years. Like there's another podcast that I've listened to where they have it's called Fuckface.
Right.
It's basically it's basically a podcast with guys just talking about times they've fucked themselves over by doing stupid stuff. But it's pretty funny. But there's a story, or there's this hang on it where they'll be talking about baseball cards, like the baseball like sports trading cards that you would get in like America, they would have, and there's a particular player with some story behind it that's kind of about him fucking himself over, and them talking about it, and how the guy's like, oh, I think it's hilarious to just like have this thing where I'm just going to try and collect as many of this same baseball card as possible, just because it's funny to like I own a collection of this one baseball card. And the podcast, it's not huge, it's not like this insanely big thing. Like they've got quite a lot of viewers and stuff, but like that alone, just them talking about it and stuff over the course of like numbers of podcasts, has made that card all of a sudden worth more than it's been worth for years and years and years, because it's a card that's been around since like the 80s or something. And like they've talked about how like there's subreddits, say like there's like subreddits about like people that collect baseball cards where they're like they have topics where like why the fuck is this player's card all of a sudden worth so much more, by the way? I've been seeing this going up. What's going on? Because they've no fucking idea what's happening. And it's like something as simple as that, as somebody talking about an item of the podcast about it being a funny thing of collecting it, all of a sudden that thing is now worth much more money because everybody that listens to that is like, that is hilarious, I want to get one of them, and then all of a sudden all these people want to buy it and it goes up in price. Like it's well, that's the age we live in, where something that is a joke can just make something, a piece of cardboard, just all of a sudden worth a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, look at that guy with the TikTok who was drinking cranberry juice and on a skateboard listening to Fleetwood Mac Dreams, and then all of a sudden Fleetwood Mac Dreams was #1. You know, people that never knew Fleetwood Mac suddenly just wanted to know everything about them.
Yep.
It's so strange how influential people can be in these days. Like, because there is just a huge amount of information out there.
Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy how quickly something can just become so big out of nothing, basically. Out of a simple wee joke, or just it's insane. It's insane the age we live in.
Well, I think we should end with a simple joke and hope that takes off whatever the joke's about. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Bear.
Bear who?
Bear bum.
Bear bum?
Bear bum's trending 2021.
Bear bum. Hashtag bear bums.
Hashtag bear bums. And now, is it bums that happen to be a bear? Or are they bums that are bear?
We're either going to have people's naked arses, or we're going to have pictures of bears rating through trash.
Yeah, I like trash bears.
I would definitely prefer to see trash bears over bear arses.
And
sure.
Considering the state of the environment, we'll probably will see a lot more trash bears.
Oh aye.
But listen, this has been lovely, gal, but I need to go and get my dinner.
I will also need to go and get some dinner. I'm pretty hungry.
Till next time, maybe we'll do next week, and we'll have a topic. But we'll, I think we'll just keep it light and breezy. We're Monica for friends. We're light and breezy.
Yes, light and breezy. We'll have topics, but we won't necessarily stick to them.
Definitely, and we're light and breezy because we're telling you.
Yes, and that's how you know. That's how you know somebody has a thing, and when they constantly tell you that that's what they are.
Well, if you've been listening, thank you for listening this far.
Yeah.
Please leave something nice in the comments. And yeah, recommend us to your friends if you like listening to two people you barely understand.
Yeah. Appreciate the listen. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.